All right, we're going to talk about these epithelial tissues, bang bang, which I spent 6 years studying one of them, called frog embryos, right here. Um, so these guys got a lot of different structures, and I'm going to give you kind of this six basic ones, but really it's cell shape and then layers. So we're going to go through that. I'm not sure about the best way I want to do this, but we're just going to get into it. Okay, epithelial kind of anatomy is what we're going through right now. So we've got a couple different cell types. One is they're squishy, flat, like a pancake. This is one cell type, and they are called squamous. Not really liking all that nuclei doing its thing. Nope, 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 nope. This is what I want. Boom, boom. Nope. Failed me. You failed me, thing. Okay, boom. Squamous. Boom. Thin, flat pancakes. This guy, squamous. Squished, squamous. It's easy to remember. It's got a SQU in it. Squished, squamous. Okay? Boom. Next one up. Frickin' easy. Frickin' easy. Boy, look like a cube. This one. Cuboidal. Boom! Man, I love when stuff's easy. Cuboidal. Alright? These are cell shapes and epithelial tissues. Cuboidal. And then last, but not least, we got ones that look like tall columns. These guys thought biologists ain't creative. Columnar. Okay. We got cubes, we got squishy flat pancakes, squamous, and we got columns, columnar. Forgot my nuclei here. All right. Well, these guys can form into a couple different styles of epithelial tissue. So let's talk about the styles of epithelial tissue. Well, squamous can either it can be like this. Boom. Or they can be like this. Oh. Wait, it's the same. That looks the exact same. Oh, frick. What a twist, bro. Dang. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boom. Let me draw my little nuclei here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. So they can either be simple, which means one layer, or they can be stratified. Stratified, which means many layers. Just like the stratification of the atmosphere or the stratification of rocks. Stratified, layered. Okay. Boom. Simple. Squamous. Epithelium. Whoa. You're never going to guess this, but it's the exact same for cuboidal. I'm going to draw these as little cubes so we can have them simple. Or we can have them stratified. Look at that. Boom! God. Biology's easy, man. Biology's so much easier than calculus. So much easier than statistics. You guys happy you're in this class? And columnar, again. Oops. I mean, really? You're telling me that it's also going to follow the same exact pattern? They can be simple, or they can be stratified. Oh, my tea is done. Dude, I'm not I'm not asking for this. I'm telling you. Do my bidding. Simple columnar. And they can be stratified. But the cells underneath it aren't really like cuboidal anymore. And there's actually a twist here. I gotta go get that tea. It is squeaking at me. There's a twist here, actually. We'll save that for when I come back. There's gonna be a twist here. I'll be right back. All right. I know you're eagerly chomping at the bit for whatever this twist is gonna be. Oh man, I'm not gonna reveal it right yet. No, I will. Let me put in my little nuclei here. Bing, bonk, blink, chink, blink, donk. All right. Simple, stratified. We've got squamous, I like to say squamous, cuboidal, and columnar. Column shaped. They can either be simple, single layer, or stratified, multiple layers. Little twist here. Columnar. Sometimes they look like they're layered. Like we'll have like just a little tiny smooch of one coming out up there. So it kind of looks like it's layered. Maybe like this guy like kind of even covers it up a little bit at the top. But it's not really layered. Maybe like, yeah, this guy. Maybe look something like that. Yeah. Boom. Boom. I'm drawing my nuclei here. Oh, I didn't seal the deal on this guy at the bottom. We seal the deal. Okay. Boom, boom, ching, douche, wonk, clink. Pseudo-stratified is what this is called. It looks like it's stratified, but it's not. Pseudo means like kind of fake, false. Pseudo. Stratified. All right. Pseudo-stratified. And let's just have fun. This is one of my favorite words. This would be pseudo-stratified. And then this would be a ciliated columnar epithelium. They have a little cilia on it. Like little hair-like projections. We'll talk more about these in the future, if we make it there. If we all don't end up skeletons before then, which could happen. If we do become skeletons, I hope we remain friends. Okay. Boom. So why do we do this? As groups of cells, why do we have these different shapes and structures and do it all weird and different? Why aren't all cells and tissues and epithelial tissues all the exact same size? Well, they do different things. So these are real thin. I'm going to zoom in here and do all my typey type stuff. I'm not sure how you guys want to do notes on this, but write this stuff down for sure. You can do arrows coming off of it or kind of under here if I don't know how you want to do it. Simple. Thin. These are thin. They allow things to pass through them easily. Diffuse. And we're gonna write diffuse because we're scientists here. Easily. Where would we want things to be able to diffuse easily through them? Well, let's say our lungs, our air sacs. Our air sacs. Yes. Where else? Where does things need to diffuse in and out very easily? Our blood vessels. Blood vessels. Those are a special kind of epithelium called endothelial cells. Endothelial cells. Because they smoke the endo, bro. I'm just kidding. They don't. They live a clean and sober life, your endothelial cells. It's the best way to be. Okay. Boom. Makes sense. All right. Simple. Flat. things can get through it quickly. This makes total frickin' sense. And the places that we find them. Boom. Things that make sense. Lungs and blood vessels, where things have to diffuse through it, such as gas, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. Crazy. All right, stratified layered. All right, what is this for? Lots of layers. If I wear an undershirt and then a t-shirt and then a sweater and then a jean jacket and then a winter coat, I got lots of layers on it. I'm protected from the elements. Oh, lots of layers? This is protection. This is useful for protection. I could come in here with like a tiny little fork. Let's say that's a little tiny fork, and I could scrape off some of these cells. I could just come in here right now. I could just delete that cell. Doesn't matter. Still protected. Lots of layers of protection. Where do we want a lot of layers of protection? Our skin. Right? Anything on the outside. Our skin. Vagina. Mouth. Yep. All these different things. We've already looked at a little bit of that, right? Lots of layers of protection. Boom, boom, boom! Cruising, bro. Cruising through these. All right, simple cuboidal. All right, these guys are pretty good. We can make a nice little straw with these. You know, they'll let some things through. They will let some things through, but not as many. They're not as good as diffusion because they're a little, but not as many because they're thicker. Because they thick. They thicker. That's how you spell thick. All right. They'll let some things through, but not as many because they're thicker. We looked at an example of these. These would be our kidney tubules, right? Which allows water to be reabsorbed by your body. Kidney tubules. And then we got, they line glands. So these make nice tubes for fluid to kind of go through. Great. All right, what about these guys? Or let's go over to these guys. Stratified cuboidal. These are now going to be used for secretion. Similar ducts and glands, more like the actual glandular tissue. These are big old stacks of cells for secretion, right? Because they can make a lot of stuff inside of them. A lot of stuff inside of them. And secrete it. Secret it. Secrete it. You want to hear secret? There's only one letter difference between secrete and secret. Yeah, so lines, this is like sweat glands is an example of this. Sweat glands. All right, last but not least, we got our simple columnar. Simple columnar. So this is big, long cells. And these are all over your digestive system. They line your digestive tract. And it's kind of you know, it's very similar actually kind of to this. It's almost like this. They secrete mucus and allow nutrient absorption. I gotta sneeze. What's up, world? All right. Whew. And now we've got stratified layer of columnar cells. So this is now multiple layers. Layers of columnar cells. And again, these are used for secretion. Secretion. They line the epididymis, which is part of the testes. Epididymis. Nope, don't know how to spell that. Oh, I put the Y and the I in the wrong place. The epididymis and mammary glands. Mammary glands. Epididymis is where your sperm go to learn. That wasn't finished that sentence, but that's pretty funny. That's where your sperm go to learn. Mammary glands. I'm feeling goofy today, guys. I don't know if you could tell. Edit. Mammary. Why can't I spell mammary? That's an A. Mammary. Man, Murray, you got some stratified columnars? Crazy. And really, this is a kind of a pseudostratified is another version of a columnar epithelium, but it just doesn't really look layered. And this line's like your trachea. Your trachea, which is like your windpipe, and your bronchioles. Bronchi, I won't say bronchi. Trachea, bronchi, these secrete mucus and beat that mucus up to your esophagus so you swallow them trapped dusty particles and bacteria / viruses / toxins. Toxins! You're so toxic you don't talk sense. Did you ever think about that? All right. Boom, that's our basic overview. Then this is really, there's more. There's a lot, like your bladder's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird one too. It looks like it's layered, but it's really simple. It kind of goes back and forth when it's stretched versus not. That's a pretty good little overview. And let me just talk now about this. We've gone over this a little bit, but I just want to touch on this stuff. Let's touch on this. All right, I got my epithelial cells here, and they connect to each other. And I talked briefly about this early in cells, but we're going to go over it again in a little bit more detail about these specific types. So, we got our nuclei. Boom. Boom. Like that. And these cells are connected to each other, right? They're part of a tissue, and it's a very specialized epithelial tissue. So up here we actually have, they actually look like tiny little like beads. I'm just drawing them kind of simply like that. And these are very, very tight. And these are also associated with like an actin network all up in here. These are, up here we have tight junctions. These prevent the flow of material. They prevent or allow material to pass between these cells. Okay, and they can be regulated. They can be loose or less loose, or leaky or less leaky. And we have the proteins that make up these, you don't have to know this, they're called claudins. And they basically form like a stitch. It looks like a stitching. I don't know if I have a good picture of this. I know I do somewhere. I mean, this is what I did my PhD on. I don't think I actually have a picture. But if we were to look at a side view, I'll just between these two cells, like this is, we're inside the cell, like looking like that. Give you guys a little hint here. So we're in the cell looking at that, like looking at that structure. It'd be kind of decorated all along the side. It would look like this. Well, actually, I should have drawn it in red. Boom, 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 boom. Like it looks like little stitches, and there's not just one. Layer. They kind of form these multiple stitches, and they look like this. They look like a bunch of little like beads. And so you can see how this would prevent things from flowing between these cells, because we got all these different layers of these tight junctions up at the top. Like so. Pretty cool. Okay? This is inside the cell looking at the junction. Okay? So then, and this belt of actin kind of goes all the way around the top. Then just below those we have something called adherens junctions. And these are made out of a bunch of little proteins that span the membrane, and they interact with each other like Velcro. So just like Velcro is made out of a bunch of little tiny interactions, cells have little tiny Velcro called adherens junctions. So these are adherens junctions. And they connect, like if I have just these two fingers holding on to each other, it's not super strong. But if I add in now 4 of them, I can actually kind of hold my arms together longer if I apply the same force. Now, if you had thousands of fingers with that weak little interaction, you would actually be able to like move a semi truck or something, you know, crazy. And that's kind of how adherens junctions work, just like Velcro does. It's a bunch of tiny little loops and hooks interacting with each other. These are also connected to the actin cytoskeleton. Oop, gotta get rid of that arrow. So we got lots of, and this actin cytoskeleton is contractile, so it's providing a force. There's actually a thicker band of it here, more of it. And that contractile force actually helps it stay connected. So when you pull on it, it's called a catch bond. And so if I pull on my fingers, we use this finger example here, let me make myself bigger. So if I'm not pulling on my fingers, they're kind of loose, let's say like that. But then if I pull on my fingers, it's like the bonds go from kind of loose to like kind of like curling up like that. Where now I can actually, you know, really pull on this because the fingers have curled. It's called a catch bond. Like when they're like this, they're kind of like, oh, it's not very strong. But if you pull on it a little bit, they kind of go, oh, like that, and really start to hold on to each other. So the force from the actin cytoskeleton actually helps connect these together. Force from actin cytoskeleton makes adherens junctions stronger. They hold on to each other. That's pretty nifty. All of these junctions are actually mechanically sensitive. Then we have something called gap junctions, which form little holes through the cells actually. So we got, oops, I want this. Allow cells to kind of communicate and share cytoplasm and things like that. And very specialized cells will have these. I don't think that's how I want to do that. I think I want to do it like this. It goes a little something like this. So we got a gap junction. Gap junctions allow cells to share cytoplasm or cytosol, which is the gel-like substance packed full of protein inside of them. And then there are another set of really strong junctions, especially in your skin cells. I don't like that. That's uneven. These are called desmosomes. And these are connected to keratin filaments. If you remember those, this is what your hair is made out of. And these link the cell, like let's say, I'll draw this one over here. Boom. So we have like keratin filaments connecting to another. Oops. Connecting to another desmosome, which would be like over here. And this would be crisscrossing all through. We drew a little picture of that at the end of the cytoskeleton. And this will be a perfect little segue. So these are desmosomes. That's a gap junction. This is a desmosome. And then down here, we've got something called something like that. This is called a hemidesmosome. It's kind of a desmosome. There's only half of it. This would be a hemidesmosome. Hemidesmosome. It doesn't connect to another cell. This would be a simple epithelium. It connects to something called a basement membrane. Let me actually make this a little bigger like that. So this would be a basement membrane. And this is connective tissue. This is a like fibrous, extracellular matrix. So this is a matrix of fibers that cells connect to. Beautiful. And that's actually what we're going to talk about next is connective tissue. Let me see if I can pull up. There's a lot I didn't get to talk about that I want to talk about. Let's pull up some pictures of these so we can see them. All right, we got simple cuboidal. I know we looked at this, but I want to pull up this picture because it's beautiful. Simple cuboidal. Look at that. Look at that kidney. Got that example right there. Look at that bad boy. So these are the ducts, the kidney tubules that help your kidney balance the water in your bloodstream, in your body. Let's see. Yeah, let me just pull up this whole little picture here. This has got a lot of them. Let's put it up here. We can see these bad boys. Okay, so we've got simple squamous lining the blood. This is an inside, we're inside the air sac looking at the cells, and you see that they're actually, kind of irregularly shaped. We see the nuclei. We've got our kidney tubules, our simple cuboidal. We've got our lining of our small intestine here. We've got our columnar epithelium here, and this is actually a very specialized cell called a goblet cell that secretes the mucus layer to help protect your digestive system. Here we have our pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, which is full of columnar shaped cells. These specialized ones called goblet cells that also secrete mucus, but in your respiratory tract. And then here we have our skin, our nose, vagina, all that stuff, anal canal, where we need a lot of protection. So we have these multiple layers of stratified squamous epithelium. And this little guy here, so this, Yeah, these, they don't actually, they're not showing these as ciliated. That's okay. Microvilli. I think that's all I want to show. There's a lot more I want to talk about, obviously, but I don't have the time. I don't want to go on too long. Let's keep cruising. You guys will survive if you don't know everything I know. I promise you. Okay, I'll see you when we talk about connective tissue. It'll be shorter than this one.